Welcome back, Johnnies, to the February edition of SportsWire, your home for the Red Storm sporting reports. I'm Ashlyn Mulligan.
And I'm Cristal Rosa-Sanchez. While us students were taking a break and staying out of the cold, the St. John's sports teams were heating up. Let's take a look at some highlights that you might have missed in December and January.
The cheer team ended their season with a national championship, scoring 93.6 points at the Division I cheer competition in Orlando last month. The dance team also competed in Florida, taking third place with 88.8 points in the game day finals. Congrats, Johnnies.
We also have a recent championship for the women's track and field team, who ranked first at the Indoor Metropolitan Championship for the third year in a row. They had 10 first place wins and beat the second place Fordham Rams by a whopping 44.5 points. Definitely an exciting start to their spring season.
Our biggest story of the month revolves around men's basketball and the stellar season they've been having thus far. The Red Storm is ranked first in the Big East with an 11-1 conference record. In fact, the team boasted an undefeated January, the first since the 1985 season, which was the last time St. John's made it to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament. The team has a 9-game win streak that could easily be extended by the time this episode airs. At the beginning of February, St. John's was ranked 12th in the country by the Associated Press, its highest in over 2 decades. The USA Today coaches poll saw St. John's as number 10, and their ranks keep climbing.
The team seems to be performing well overall, but let's take a closer look at how they play on the court. WRED-TV went to Madison Square Garden for St. John's buzzer-beater victory against Providence at the beginning of the month. AJ Lagakis and Nico Fret commentate to break down this competitive game.
I'm Nico Fret.
And I'm AJ Lagakis.
And we are here doing an analysis breakdown of the St. John's Providence game that happened a few weeks ago. Here we see Lewis score his first points of the game with this splash of a 3. We see Richmond, the ball moving for St. John's. Scott to Wilcher, back to Richmond again. Richmond pulls it for a 50-foot jumper. It's good.
Here's a loose ball, fight for it. It goes to Kadari Richmond as he takes it up the court. And Richmond will find Davon Smith, who looks to drive and put it up. It's no good, but Kadari Richmond with the tip-in as the St. John's Red Storm add another 2 points.
And we see Richmond snagging the rebound out of the air, pushing it down the court over to Smith. Smith inside to Ejiofor. Ejiofor goes up, misses. Rebound goes to Smith for the St. John's. Over to Lewis. He gets himself free in the corner for 3 and knocks it down.
And here we are, Kadari Richmond, who gives it over to R.J. Lewis Jr., over to Davon Smith, back to Richmond, who takes an unusual 3, and it's good. Richmond hitting the 3 to extend St. John's' lead.
See here, Smith with the ball. Passes it over to Lewis. Lewis surveying, directing, over to Smith. Smith back to Lewis. Lewis over to Smith. Wilcher. Wilcher inside to Richmond. Richmond pulls up, 15-foot jumper is good.
Here's Richmond giving it over to Zuby Ejiofor, who knocks down the floater. And as he points and backs up to center court, the ref raises his hand, and a timeout is called for Providence.
Here, Providence turns the ball over. St. John's with the steal. Richmond with the steal. Pushing the ball down the court. Little handoff to Lewis. In the wing for 3. See here, Pierre for Providence with the ball. Guarded by Ejiofor. Ejiofor staying with him. Little spin move. Jumpers blocked by Ejiofor. Rebound goes to Richmond on the push. Richmond over to Lewis. Into the lane for 2.
It's now Davon Smith taking it up the court. He gives it over to Kadari Richmond, who gives it over now to R.J. Lewis. Lewis moving around the point. Back to Ejiofor now. Ejiofor looking for someone. He finds Davon Smith at the point and gets a little help from Zuby Ejiofor. And now it's Smith rolling. Kadari Richmond. Wide open 3 is good. Kadari Richmond extends the lead for St. John's.
And here we have St. John's on the possession, pushing the ball down the court. Richmond with the ball, handling. Outside to Wiltshire for three. Off rim. Rebound almost goes to Smith. Can't snag it. Scrum for the ball. Richmond able to pick it up and put it up and in with a chance for an and one opportunity.
Here's Davon Smith trying to orchestrate the offense as he holds, guarded by Pierre. Now over to R.J. Lewis. Lewis controls. Jump shot is good. Falling for R.J. Lewis as he backs up. Players trying to orchestrate now their defense, and Lewis leaves a man wide open for Providence. An easy slam dunk.
Here we have Pierre being guarded by Scott. Pierre passes it over to his left to Abdir Rahim. Rahim for three. Timeout St. John's. Their defense is struggling. Patino wants to talk things over. Rahim with 27 on the game as he's leading his team back.
Here we have R.J. Lewis at the line as he takes his free throw. It's no good. He recovers it and is pushed out of bounds. And a foul is called on Providence as St. John's will retain possession.
Providence with the ball over to Joseph. Joseph drives in, guarded by Scott, kicks it out. Over to Pierre. Pierre sizing up Richmond. Drives past him to put the ball up over the glass and cut the lead down to one.
Here we have R.J. Lewis. Gives it over to Kadari Richmond. He points. Gives it now over to Zuby Ejiofor. R.J. Lewis getting kind of a roadblock from Ejiofor as he pulls up and hits the jumper. R.J. Lewis with a 66-63 lead now for the Red Storm. As Joseph comes right back, pulls up his three and hits, showing some emphatic celebration as Providence ties the game, forcing St. John's to call a timeout.
And here we have Richmond with the ball, letting the clock wind down to set up what is potentially the last shot of the game. In now between the legs, crossover. Richmond into the paint, 50-foot jumper is good. St. John's goes up 68-66. Joseph on the inbound, heaves it and misses. St. John's wins 68-66. Grinds out a win and fends off the Friars. And now we will send it back to Ashlyn and Cristal in the studio.
You can listen to more of AJ and Nico on their show, The Hat Trick, which airs on WSJU Radio on Thursdays from 4 to 5 p.m.
St. John's is seeing the creation of a dream team led by point guard Kadari Richmond. He was included in the Big East Honor Roll 2 weeks in a row and proves himself to be a dominant defensive player and an asset for the team's offense.
Following that close matchup, the team played against Marquette, who was ranked 11th in AP polls, and it proved to be a tight game. Marquette was up by just 1 point at halftime, but St. John's pulled away with the win and ended the game 70-64. The team has 8 more games against Big East competitors before the conference tournament, which begins March 12th.
While the basketball team may be on fire, the baseball team is just warming up. Coming off of their 2024 Big East Championship win, the St. John's baseball team is gearing up for another dominant season. The Red Storm was placed third in the preliminary coaches poll, and 4 Johnnies were already selected for the preseason All-Big East game. This year, they have added 12 new freshmen who are ready to make an impact. Among them, we have Chaz Wright, who averaged .448 in high school, David Rodriguez, a right-handed pitcher who was named Pitcher of the Year in 2024, and Adam Agresti, who was ranked 11th in the nation as a catcher. With a strong freshman class and heavy training alongside Detroit player and 2024 C.Y. Young winner Tariq Skubal, St. John's could be heading towards another championship victory.
The softball team was also ranked 3rd in preseason coaches poll. Standout player Jared London ended last season with an on-base slugging percentage of 1.003 and 11 home runs under her belt. The team begins their season February 7th in Texas, playing Houston Christian and University of Houston in back-to-back games.
As both winter sports heat up and spring sports get underway, it's a great time to be a Johnny. With championships on the line and new talent stepping up, St. John's Athletics is entering a new era, and it's a year to be excited about.
Student tickets are free for the baseball and softball contests, and you can learn more information about men and women's basketball tickets at redstormtix.com. I'm Ashlyn Mulligan.
And I'm Cristal Rosa-Sanchez, and that's all for this edition of SportsWire.
Go Johnnies!